Hi everyone, my name is Julie. This is Keep Calm with Books and Coffee, and today we are doing the mid-year book freakout tag, which is a long-standing tradition on this channel and across BookTube. I will try to find the original creators. I don't know that either one of those videos is posted any longer, but I will also have a playlist of my past mid-year freakout tags somewhere here. If you want to see me from past years talk about the books that I loved and disliked and read and all of that good stuff. So yeah, it's the mid-year. I can't believe we're here, and it's been an interesting first half of the year for me, to be honest, as far as reading goes. Normally I'm at 50 books or probably past it by now. Last year I read 75 books by the time we hit this point, and I'm sitting at 36, which is not normal for me. I've also been doing a lot of rereading, and it just feels a little outside of the normal. However, I've been doing a lot of things. Several of my favorite artists have released new music this year. I'm actually wearing my Noah Kahan hoodie, my 6th season hoodie, and I am gonna live in this forever. It's too hot for a hoodie. It is much too hot in here for this, but I continue to wear it. I just can't take it off. I love it too much. So music has been a big thing for me this year that has sort of like pushed down my rate of listening to audiobooks, and I'm still struggling to read physically as much as I used to. So those are some factors. What else has been happening? I've been really into both Switch games and PS4. So all of these things have been, and I'm going to do like a mid-year goal update as well, I think. So we'll talk about that more as well. But I think my goal of balance is actually working out pretty well. However, it makes my reading like a little bit less than normal, or at least it seems that way compared to last year. Anyway, I have been talking about this. We want to jump into the questions. So just a couple of quick stats. Like I said, I have read 36 books this year. Thus far, I have read 6,137 pages physically and listened to 244.5 hours of audio. All of those stats are on Storygraph. So let's jump into the questions. The first question is, what is the best book you've read in 2023? I am not good at a single answer, so we will try to keep these minimal, but I might not have just one. The one I want to name is actually a book I read for a secret TBR that you're going to be seeing soon, but so I don't want to say what that is, but I will talk about it at some point. The other ones that I want to mention are Ruby Fever by Alana Andrews, which is the final book in the Hidden Legacy series, as well as Song of Achilles by Madeline Miller. I finally jumped on the Madeline Miller train this year, and I loved this book so much. The Ruby Fever was a great series. I enjoyed it a lot. That was definitely like a happy, fun read, and I absolutely loved it. But Song of Achilles was something else. It really, really hit me in the feelings. It really got me all over the place, and so did the secret book that I'm not going to tell you about, and just tell you that I absolutely loved that one as well. I will talk about it plenty soon, so a little preview of what's coming. Number 2 is the best sequel you've read in 2023. I already mentioned Ruby Fever, so I will also mention The Emerald Blaze, because that is also in that series and I loved it. I'm trying to think of any other sequels that I read that I blew me out of the water, and I can't think of anything. Yeah, I'm gonna stick with those because I have started a couple of series. I've continued a couple of series, but nothing has blown me out of the water like that. And a lot of the rereads that I have done, I feel like I've talked about their sequels before. So Emerald Blaze and Ruby Fever were the ones that were big wins for me as far as the sequel department. Number 3 is a new release that you haven't read yet, but you want to. And for this, I have 2 listed here. The first is The Witch King by Martha Wells, as well as the How to Sell a Haunted House by Grady Hendrix. I'm really interested in this book. I have heard such mixed things, from enjoyment to wildly disappointed, that I'm excited to try it and see how I think of it. I just keep kind of putting it off because I've been reading at a slower pace, so hopefully I will be getting to it in July. We shall see. Number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of 2023, and I don't know, honestly. For me personally, I try to stay clear of new release lists because in the past, when I have read a lot of it's kind of a dual reason. I don't read a ton about my books before I pick them up. I usually listen to people I trust, as well as getting a brief information, but I try to not know a ton about books before I start reading them. So for me, I don't look into new releases a lot. And also previously, when I would look into new release lists, I would pre-order a bunch of books and then I never ended up reading them. So I kind of steer clear of new releases and just kind of wait until some of the buzz hits me. So we'll see, but at the moment I don't have anything. Number 5 is your biggest disappointment, and for me this was The Last Tale of the Flower Bride by Roshni Chokshi. I honestly anticipated loving this so much, and it was very mid for me, if not super disappointing. I actually just made a whole review about this, so you can check out more of my thoughts. I will have that linked. But overall, this just didn't impress me. I didn't love it, and I thought it was very meandering. So yeah, this one was a disappointment. Number 6 is What Was Your Biggest Surprise? And for me, this was What Moves the Dead by T. Kingfisher. This had been on my radar for a while, but because it was a novella from an author I hadn't read before and it was horror, I wasn't making it a priority, but then I got the audiobook from my library and I absolutely loved it. I'm also really interested, ever since The Last of Us came out, Sporer is definitely something that's on my radar. It's creepy and definitely gives me the willies, but it's also a lot of fun to read about, and I'm enjoying my touches of that. So I definitely wanted to check this out, and I really enjoyed it. Like I said, the audiobook was fantastic, and I'm interested to read more from T. Kingfisher going forward. Number 7 is What is Your Favorite New Author? And for this, I listed 2, Olivia Atwater, who wrote Small Miracles that I read at the beginning of this year and absolutely adored. I definitely want to be reading more from her soon, as well as Anne Bishop, who wrote Written in Red, which I have continued that series already. I'm working on Murder of Crows right now, so that is the second book in this series. So I've really enjoyed getting to know both of these authors this year, and I'm excited to read more from them. Number 8 is Newest Fictional Crush, and this doesn't really apply anymore. I don't know, I love characters, but I've said this before for this question, that I love characters and I love shipping characters together more than I crush on characters. So that's kind of where I stand on that, and I have several new fictional ships that I'm obsessed with that we could talk about, but crushes are not so much my thing. Number 7 is your newest favorite fictional character, and I could go on and on about this forever. Number 1 is Wyatt from The Witch King by H.E. Edgmond. I loved Wyatt so much. I knew he was making bad decisions and I didn't care. I wanted him to just keep going. I just loved him to pieces and wanted him to just have an easier road of it. Everything seemed to just keep cropping up in his way, and he kept trying to burn the world down, and I loved him for it. So this is a YA urban fantasy story, and I loved it to bits. I can't wait to read the sequel, and Wyatt was a big part of that. I also want to talk about Alex Easton from What Moves the Dead. I absolutely loved them in this book. They were such a fascinating character in the way of, I liked the way their mind worked, and I liked the way they were trying to decipher what was going on and how they kind of approached these problems within the story, and I just really enjoyed their perspective across, this really dark and horrific story. My other favorite would probably be Catalina from the Hidden Legacy series, because she is so fun. I really loved being in her head. She is a combination of Nevada and Kate and some other, I'm trying to think who else she has a little bit of. She just has this way of thinking that is very much Kate and also very much Nevada from the Andrews other stories, while also being her own and also being sweet and kind of soft in a way that isn't bad. Like, her softness is still strength, but I just loved her as a character, and I loved seeing her work through problems and come up with solutions and be this independent kick-ass lady that was just so fantastic. I love how intelligent the Andrews female main characters are, and they just continue to impress me with how smart and resourceful their characters are. Number 10 is a book that made me cry, and normally I try not to do too many repeats in this tag, but I am because I've only read 36 books this year. So there's going to be some repeats, and a lot of them have been rereads. So the first one is Song of Achilles. Of course, that ripped my heart out, and I thought I had gotten through it, and then the end, like the end really got me. So if you've read that book, you probably know what I'm talking about. And the other is The Secret Book that I'm not telling you. So I will tell you eventually. You will see me cry in a vlog, but yeah, that one really got me. Number 11 is a book that made you happy. Anything I read by Alana Andrews this year. I absolutely have loved both rereading their series as well as exploring new ones. I have read, I reread all of the Innkeeper Chronicles. I read the Edge series by them this year, and I also finished up my read of the Hidden Legacy series like I've been talking about, and I really am thinking that I will probably make my way through all of their books this year because I just keep devouring them and they're pretty much what I'm reading. So hopefully Kate Daniels makes it on its way very soon. Number 12 is the most beautiful book that you've bought this year, and for this it has to be God Killer by Hannah Canner. This is the Illumicrate version, which has sprayed edges. Are you gonna focus? Sprayed edges, which are absolutely gorgeous. Come on. Well, you get the idea. As well as this beautiful inside cover, which, again, absolutely gorgeous. And this, which I love to bits. So, yeah, I have been obsessed with this, but I haven't read it yet. So, I want to read this so badly. Hopefully soon. Number 13 is what books do you need to read before the end of the year? Anything on my physical TBR. I've been working on this for a couple of years and I just really want to continue to work on it. Like, I feel like this year I'm actually making progress. I'm DNFing things. I'm trying things and giving up on them. I'm just getting rid of things like I don't even try. I'm doing really well, but I really want to read more of my physical TBR this year. And since I've been reading at a slower pace, I'm really trying not to buy as many books. Like I didn't buy anything in June and I only bought 2 books in May. So that's going pretty well, and I'm making progress there. It's just a process. I just want to get to the point where I'm reading the books that I'm buying as close to when I'm buying them. Last year, this is a whole goals discussion, but last year I was reading a lot of the books that I was buying like immediately after buying them, and I think that's something that really contributed to my high number of reads last year. And now this year, like I said, I have other things going on. I'm trying to do a little more balancing, but I'm continuing to try and read more of my backlist, more of the things that are already on my shelves, and the excitement isn't there quite as much. So I can tell it's impacting my reading. So we're gonna try to continue to clear off that shelf and then eventually get back to reading things that I am really excited about and have bought recently. So that is everything for this tag. If you have any thoughts or feelings or want to share anything with me about this tag or about your reading from this year, I would love to hear it down below. Like I said, I have done this tag a bunch of times and I definitely recommend it if you are a booktuber and you want to answer the questions. They are fun and reflective and just super interesting to look at. If you just want to let me know you were here, go ahead and add a calendar emoji down below since we are talking about being midway through the year. But that is it for me today. Thank you so much for watching. If you want to see me again, go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and I will see you next time. Bye!